Julia, do you think the resistance is real?
No. None of it's real.
There are thought criminals who maintain that the resistance is not real. Believe me, Winston, it is very real. Perhaps you're not familiar with how it operates.
I'm attentive to the news.
Indeed. And perhaps you imagine a huge network of conspirators prepared to commit any atrocity to demoralize and weaken the order of our society. The reality is infinitely more subtle. If Goldstein himself fell into the hands of the thought police, he could not give them a list of his agents. Such a list does not exist. They are not an organization in the sense we know. Nothing holds it together but an idea.
In accordance with the principles of doublethink, it does not matter if the war is not real, or when it is, that victory is not possible. The war is not meant to be won. It is meant to be continuous. The essential act of modern warfare is the destruction of the produce of human labor. A hierarchical society is only possible on the basis of poverty and ignorance. The war is waged by the ruling group against its own subjects, and its object is not victory over Eurasia or Eastasia, but to keep the very structure of society intact.
So we're back then. Hi.
Hiya.
Okay, you sound a lot like Andy. Okay, welcome back. Tuesday the 12th of May 2015. My name's Paul.
My name's Joe.
And this is the Unpenned Show revamped. A little while ago, Andy jumped off the bus. Jumped ship. He said he'd had enough. He didn't want to go any further, and I can fully appreciate his reasons for doing so. And I'm okay with that. I will have, in my memory, 5-6 years of discovery with Andy that I couldn't have enjoyed without him. So I'm very grateful. But he'd had enough. He lives at home with a family that don't appreciate the point of view that he brings home. And I suppose, really, it was always going to come to which is going to be. You're going to keep causing trouble at home, or you're going to pack it in? I think he's just had enough. This system is designed to beat you. It's designed to beat you down. It's designed to break you. It's designed to make you give up. I'm not saying he's given up, but he was given a choice. And I think he's made the right one. Do you?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so good luck to Andy, and I'm sure we'll be in contact again soon. But the Unpenned Show is back. And it was funny because the very night that we did our last show, I didn't put it up. There was no inkling in my mind then that there was going to be a change. But the show we did, I chose not to put up. And that's the only show I've never put up. Because I wasn't happy with it. And I did my own little half-hour segment the day after, explaining why I hadn't put a show up. And then just a few days after that, Andy said he'd had enough. So it all worked out inside a week. So maybe it was time for a change. And after 3 or 4 weeks off, I've made my mind up that I'm back with what I hope is an improved point of view. Because I think those that might have listened to a few shows can join in with me by saying we know how it works. We know how it works. But we don't know why it works. I mean, if I ask you, Joe, from discovery to now, how much more or less do you know about the world that you live in? Which is it? Do you actually know more about the world you live in? Or do you now know that you know even less than you thought you did?
I know less than I thought I did.
Now that's the big shock, isn't it?
Yeah.
Learning how much you don't know. And every time you learn something, it actually teaches you knew less. That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
You
does.
learn something new, you put a new piece into your jigsaw, and it confirms, I didn't know what I thought I knew about that.
And that's what really hits you, is how ignorant you are.
Well, yeah. You and I talk to each other. This is what we're doing, as we've always done, except now you chose to pick up the microphone and do it yourself. And for those that our listener or so, can you accept, like we have done, that we are the dumbest, most ignorant versions of human beings that ever existed? And to actually overcome that is an achievement in itself. And the only overcoming that you can do with that is to accept that is your starting point. Yeah?
Yeah, it is.
Well, at what point do we think we've advanced? Because we can't be the judges of that, can we?
No.
The same reason that we can't be the judges of ourselves in the way that, are we kind, are we generous, are we honest, are we faithful, are we loyal, that sort of thing?
Uh-huh.
If we claim those things for ourselves, isn't that claim worthless?
Totally worthless.
Because it's not validated, is it?
No.
So
No.
it doesn't make any difference if we say it or not.
No.
It has no value. It only has value when someone says we are.
That's right.
So if we claim that we have moved from a point of total ignorance and stupidity in thinking that we knew how the world worked, if we claim we've moved from there, there's no validation for that, is there?
No. But people do notice.
But they notice
that you're
something different. Yes, they do. They have this, this something's changed about you, but I can't quite put my finger on it. It doesn't take long for them to realise that you no longer agree with the things that they agree with. And that doesn't go so well, does it?
Not at all.
But why it works, this is what I'm back with it. Why does this work? And the first part of understanding this is the realisation of how dumb and ignorant we are. And again, people aren't going to like to hear this, but if you don't like it, it's not that I'm speaking to you because I don't know you. It's not that I'm trying to offend you because I don't know who you are at the other end, so how can I offend you? You've chosen to listen to what I'm saying. So I'm going to tell you what I say and why I say it. And if you get bothered by it, then you're the one with that problem, not me. Because it's not aimed at you. So if you think it is, then you've made the decision that it is, not me. You've decided you've got a problem with it. I was asking, do you have this problem? And that problem is, at what point did you think you were smart now? At what point did you think going to websites you've never been to before, listening to people whose names are made up? Because look around at the bottom of this heap. Look around at all the people who claim to be helping. More than half of them don't even use their own names. How on earth can you validate anything they say? You don't know who they are. You don't know if they are. You don't know where they are, and you don't know what they're doing. And yet, if they say things that you like, you validate what they're saying simply because you want it to be true. Nothing more, nothing less. You're building a world, you're replacing a world of illusions with some more. You're now deciding how you want the world to work. And you think, by saying this is the way the world should work, you think it's going to. And you normally have something in common with people who think this way. And you normally have no skill. It would be likely that you have a low-paid or no-paid job. It wouldn't be unusual to be in debt up to your neck. It wouldn't be unusual for you to come out for you have just to come out of a failed relationship. And it wouldn't be unusual for you to have trouble seeing your children. Now, you tell me if that's people you want to mix with. You tell me if those people somehow are going to help make your life better, because I'll guarantee you one thing. Their number one priority in their life is to make their life better. Just as yours is. So at what point did you think mixing with people like this is going to improve your life? It's not possible that it can. It's not possible, is it?
No.
Because everybody pretends to be friends. Let's stand together. And the minute the challenge comes to stand together, you fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
How many times does that have to happen before you realise that you are the problem? How many times does that have to happen? Look at your own life. Do you have the characteristics that I've just described? Do you use cash? Do you filter your water? Do you not bother with fast food? Do you read the labels? Do you try and grow your own food? No, you don't. But you tell people you do, don't you? And because of the wonderful world of Disney, you can make it real. You can go online and say, I do these things, I do these things, I do these things. When you bloody well don't. You bloody well don't. Two types of people that we've met along the way. Those that fit into the group that I've just described. And the very few that fit in the group that don't have those problems. Now, the few that fit in the group that don't have those problems, they usually have similar characteristics. And that is that they're educated, but only by reading books on this very system. So they're indoctrinated, really.
Yeah.
And their advantage over you is that they're ahead of you in their book reading game. So as long as they keep reading books and you haven't got time, you're never going to catch them up. And they are actually online quite simply because that's where they belong to. If they are broadcasting to you and they're thanking you for listening, no matter how much reverence you give them, no matter how much worship or status you apply, they only are good enough to broadcast to you. So don't be fooled. If they had more value than this, they wouldn't be doing this. If they could have bettered themselves and got onto something of a paid career, doing whatever it is they do, paint, write, sing, dance, and whatever. If they could have achieved a paid career out of it, you could be damn sure they would have done. But they haven't. So the reason they're down here with the deadheads is because that's what they belong to. So the fact they've figured out how to fool you into thinking they're better than you is another illusion you've created for yourself. The world at the bottom here has you can choose to be the love and light, hugs and kisses, save the world and share everything. The world that's never existed. Ever. It's never, ever, ever existed. That we can prove. But you want it to. Socialism. Utopia, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. The promise that we're all given that never comes.
Yeah.
You see, we all know that if we don't cooperate, then we will compete and die. And when it comes to cooperation, we don't. We compete and try and kill each other.
Mm.
Is that our default? Of course it is. Is that what we've always done? Sure seems that way. So when the powers that be say that they're trying to achieve peace, does that mean domestication for us? Does that mean to stop us fighting? And they have to take us right down to the childish level and the control and threats and force that has to be applied to children so they do as they're told. Is the reason that we're here a result of how we act?
Yeah, definitely.
Is the reason that we're here and the force that's been applied and the oppression that's been used against us, is it because we deserve it? Is it because we're building an entitlement class at the bottom that says, "Give me my money."
Yeah.
Today, a chap that I've known for years, his name's Kev. He brought me the news that him and his wife are getting divorced. And I didn't quite know how to reply to that, because it appears to be news that I'm hearing far too often from people around my age gap. And rather than doing the whole conversation, in that conversation he said, my older boy's 20 and my girl's 17. He said, so in many ways it's not too difficult for them to deal with, as if they were much younger. Mm-hmm. He said that both, we can speak to them both and they can understand that this is what happens sometimes, so that's a good thing. He said, but the 20-year-old, he said, I can't believe his response, the 20-year-old's response, who's working full time, only in the spa, but it's good. It's a full-time job. Yeah. And he said to the 20-year-old, he said, look, we're going to have to rejig the family finances. Things are going to have to change. We can't. If your mum and I are going to, if we're going to split up, then you're going to have to, bring something back into the house, and you're going to have to pay board and lodge and that sort of thing. And I said, well, that seems very reasonable. What are you telling me that for? He said, I couldn't believe his reply. He said, his reply was, you had me, and the contract is you look after me until I'm ready to leave. And that's the boy of a 20-year-old Yorkshireman, much like me. Mm. Well, he's not been taught that by his dad. Where's he got that from? Where's he got that idea from? Where's he got a free lunch idea from? You see, that attitude that's been that you hear at the bottom, where's my money, is being repeated above. Those above us, they feel entitled too. Yeah. Because they've achieved this wonderful paradigm of making us excellent workers, but stupid people. Mm-hmm. And I ask you, if you had a naughty child, and repeatedly they wouldn't take responsibility for their actions, they told lies to cover their deceptions, they refused to learn, stayed in bed all day, and expected you to look after their every need, eventually, not only would you be at the end of your tether with that child, if it carried on, you'd despise that child, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd be ashamed of it. I would totally despise it.
How far away do you think we are at the bottom here? How far away do you think we are from being held in contempt? Because last week's election, if you didn't see it, and I believe you did, it was a farce. The media coverage was weak and ineffective. The choices we were given were no choice at all. Mm-hmm. It was skewed to the Conservatives won, even though there was no one worth voting for. Yeah. The Labour Party put up no defence at all. They could have attacked the Conservatives on every front, and they didn't. I
think they sabotaged it.
Well, I think they helped the Conservatives win, yeah. And the Conservatives played blinder because they actually ruined the Lib Dems. Yeah. They'll take years to recover from this. So all in all, the outcome appears to have been exactly as planned. Now, was it rigged? Well, it doesn't matter. The fact is they control the media coverage, so yes, it is rigged, isn't it? Yeah. It's rigged in that way. Have the boxes been opened? Have the postal votes been stolen? Have there been... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. No. We get involved in these skirmishes and fallouts and fights when we do nothing to fix ourselves, do we? No. We have no intention of looking in that mirror and admitting that we're deaf, dumb, stupid, ignorant, arrogant, and beyond fixing, most of us. Who's going to admit that? Who's going to admit that?
Very few.
It's the only way to recovery, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the first step, isn't it? The first real step.
Yeah. Is
actually realising how ashamed you are of what you were.
Oh yes, definitely.
I hear nobody, and I mean nobody at all, speaking like we do. Oh, they all know what's going on. They all know the names. They all know the Council for Foreign Relations and the Tavistock Institute and the Bullingdon Club and all that, Eton and Oxford, and they know all these things, yeah? Mm-hmm. Why does it work, though? They are thousands, we are millions. The answer is what I've just said it is.
It is.
We are cowards. We are weak cowards.
We're children.
Yes, we are.
Never grown up.
We won't get many listeners, though, if we speak to them like that, will we? Because those listeners, they want to come back every week for a preening. They want preening, don't they? They want the religion of success, the religion of hope and change. And they want us to tell them that you just have to hope things are going to change. And if enough of us hope it's going to change, that process of thought will do it. No, it won't. A bad education is what we're suffering from, and a bad education is what we're carrying around. And all we're doing is topping up a bad education on YouTube.
Yeah.
How many comfortable and competent speakers have you ever met in your life on this stuff? Met in your life personally? On our level? None.
No.
How many of the next pay grade above us, just above the Daily Mail readers, the Guardian, the Observer, how many of them do you think know how it works?
All of them.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
And they've got a vested interest, haven't they?
They have.
In maintaining the system.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm.
So are they going to help us? No.
No.
They are our educators. And they see no harm at all in educating us to the standard that we're used to. Otherwise the economy wouldn't work.
That's right.
Workers, not thinkers.
Mm-hmm.
These people have proved their classification is workers.
Yeah.
We have used the school system to filter up who we need.
Yeah.
We have used a method of never-ending method of testing, which means that we actually indoctrinate children to be used to tests, which means that we're looking for the best memories, the best recall abilities. Because as long as we can indoctrinate children to remember what we told them and repeat on command, that's who we're looking for.
That's right.
And as long as we test them regular enough, creativity and imagination will be gone.
Mm.
Those children will be focused on passing those tests, and the government departments that check up on the schools to make sure that they're following the curriculum letter by letter,
doing as they're told.
are doing as they're told. Failing schools, maybe that's where you want to send your kids. Maybe that's where the teachers are trying to fight back. Oh no, we're told to send our kids to schools with the very best marks. The very best marks at teaching our children to sit down, shut up, and repeat after me.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we're doing right properly? Is there anything you can think of that we're actually doing that is making a difference on the plus side? Because I'm having an awful lot of trouble saying yes to that.
I can't think, and I'm
having an
trying.
awful lot of trouble deciding how to say yes. Right, let's move on.
With VE Day celebrations, I've been thinking, we always have been known as a proud nation. How can we consider ourselves a proud nation?
Living off the past, aren't we? We're living off our grandmas and great-grandmas' achievements, aren't we?
We are.
We're associating ourselves with them as if we had something to do with it.
Yeah.
We had nothing to do with it.
No, nothing at all.
And as more and more transpires about the Second World War, the one thing that we're certainly never in question for me is the bravery of those men and women. How brave they were.
They have got to be admired.
Regardless of the facts that have now come out on how wars are engineered, it doesn't take anything away from the fact that they put the uniform on and they said, if they're going to fire at us, we're going to fire back.
They did it for the reasons they believed to be right.
Would you do it? In today's modern era, 2015, if the government said, put the uniform on, grab a gun, and if something moves, shoot it, would you? If you thought it had a gun and was going to shoot you back?
If I had to, yes, I would.
But isn't that what they're trying to engineer?
Yeah.
Aren't they trying to get us scared of everything?
Yeah.
I mean, let's just take a breath for a minute and just think of the world that is being spread by the darkness spreaders. Think of the world that we've been told exists. And let's just take a list, shall we? The police are corrupt.
Yeah.
The judges are corrupt.
Yeah.
The doctors are not to be trusted. They don't know what they're doing. The nurses, whether in hospitals or private nursing homes,
Yeah.
They're not to be trusted. They're up to no good.
That's right.
Yeah. The counsellors, they're up to no good.
Yeah, that's what we're told.
The solicitors, they're up to no good.
Mm-hmm.
The entire control system has us questioning its agenda.
Yeah.
Isn't that the ultimate divide and conquer?
It is.
Isn't that to have the people fighting against the very systems that are there to look after their interests?
Yeah.
Doesn't that achieve what a desirable outcome might be for those who know how to play us better than we play ourselves?
Well, definitely.
To turn us against the very people we pay to look after our needs.
It's our own ruination, isn't it?
Isn't it? It's just embarrassing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when we read the papers and listen to our gurus, they have us convinced that all these people are here to do us harm.
But that is total control, isn't it? You control people through fright.
It's absolute
fear.
genius, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's how war's done.
Mm-hmm.
That you think someone's coming to get you.
Yeah.
And the Germans thought someone was coming to get them. And they had Mr. Hitler. Interesting story, actually, that's come out now. That's about a gentleman called Alan Turing. The guy who cracked the Enigma code. The guy who actually cracked the Enigma code and can be certainly given the credit for saving millions of lives.
Yeah.
The Imitation Game, there's a film on it about it. It's based on a true story, and I've watched it, and I enjoyed the film enormously. And that one fella, that one gentleman, against all the odds, built what he called a computer and cracked the Enigma code. And it is one of those occasions where nobody believed he could do it. Everybody turned against him. Everyone seems a crackpot and idiot. His funding got stopped. His friends turned against him, but he never gave up. And he finally cracked it.
That sounds familiar.
And he cracked it on the Germans' message was always the 6 a.m. weather forecast that was issued to the Germans around the world, so they would be prepared for the day's oncoming weather. It was always signed off with Heil Hitler.
Right.
And because they worked out that it was always signed off with Heil Hitler, that's how they cracked the Enigma code. But here's the amazing bit. He couldn't tell anybody he cracked it. He knew, the immediately he cracked it, he knew he couldn't tell anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he'd told the Navy, the Army, the Air Force and everybody else, they would have used that information. And the Germans would have known. The Germans would have immediately figured out they cracked it, so we'll just change it.
Right.
And then they would have had to start the process all over again of cracking it.
Yeah.
So he lived a life of torment. Finally ended in committing suicide in 1954. He was recognised by the Queen and the honours list by the Queen in 2012. So stories like that of one man making a difference are a little bit inspiring, aren't they?
They are.
And he was an oddball. He was a geek. He was unusual. Very Stephen Hawkins type guy. Genius. He built something that had never been built before, and he knew it would work. Very clever, very good. Really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that film. He's credited with saving the lives of about 10 million people.
Gosh.
Quite an epitaph, isn't it? Even if it was 58 years later.
Yeah.
Back to modern day warfare. The war we live in today. Look at the people.
Yeah.
They don't have any pride at all. The pride is something that I don't think people could describe it anymore. Do you know? I don't think they could describe it. They describe it their ego. You know, they associate it with be offended. You know, that's you've hurt my pride.
Yeah.
You've hurt my pride.
Yeah. But people strut around. What I see, people strut around, proud of themselves. For
peacock type strutting.
Yes.
Yeah.
For things that basically they've stolen off other people. Like in a work scenario, you put ideas forward, somebody takes the credit for them, and they're not even their idea. How can you feel proud of the praise that you receive from that when you've not achieved anything?
But what you're doing is you're describing how the system works. Because how the system works is that whoever your superior is, they claim that because you're in their class or control, they claim that you've come up with a good idea there that I can help you with, and I can help you expand that, and I can steal it off you while I'm helping you, and you can get a little bit of credit, but I'm having the most of it. But that's what weak people do. The people who do this don't make anything, do they?
No, they don't.
You know, you're talking about the war and peace scenario that we all don't know we live in, and yet when I describe it, you know that you do live in it. And it's everybody's lives. If you like somebody, then you're at peace with them. If you don't like somebody, the chances are you're preparing to go to war with them. And on a sliding scale, you move your pieces up and down as they follow your requests and bow to your demands and praise your efforts and reward you for whatever it is you've done. As long as they act appropriately, then you'll be at peace with them. And should they not act appropriately, then you'll put the judge's wig on and sentence them. And you'll decide what that sentence is, and it'll be withdrawal of friendship, or withdrawal of financial or moral support, or withdrawal of coffee mornings. You'll withdraw. And if they've hurt you, you'll prepare revenge. And that's what everybody does. But nobody will admit that. You see, the only show in town is the one that you can see. And if it's not yours, it's somebody else's. Well, this system wants to put the show in front of your very eyes. It wants to replace what you think you see, or it wants to replace what you see with what they want you to think you see. So eventually we get to 2 and 2 equals 5.
Yeah.
Eventually we get to the sunshine is bad for you. Eventually we get to carbon dioxide is a toxic gas. Eventually we get to these sorts of scenarios where people believe it. Their eyes, should they use them properly, tell them different. But they don't believe themselves. We can call it the sat-nav generation, where the computer knows best. You don't question the computer. Turn left here, turn right here, go down here, and even though you're driving up a farm track, heading towards the field, you still keep going, because the blind faith is the machine knows better than you do. Are we here? Yes, we are here. Do we have people like that? They're absolutely everywhere. Disconcerting, isn't it? Victory in Europe Day. Right after the day of the election, wasn't it? When the 3 wise men, or the 3 stooge monkeys, had to stand side by side. Do you think they actually high-five each other at the bar? Do you think they actually are told who's taking the fall? Here's the script, and here's your money, and here's your job afterwards.
Well, it looked obvious to me on the run-up.
There's no way that this can't be true, is there? There's too much money and too many necks on the line here for this not to be completely scripted and controlled. It cannot be any other way, can it?
No.
There's too much to lose and the entire planet to win. The weakest people have acquired the most senior positions because they're the only people who will follow orders blindly. If I say to you, guns don't kill people, do they? It's the people who fire the gun.
That's right.
So when we come to an orders type scenario from the Army or the Navy or the Air Force, and the orders are given to go kill everybody in a village, is the person given the order guilty, or the person doing the shooting guilty?
The person doing the shooting.
That's a change of a changed way of thinking, isn't it? To one lifetime ago. If we look at history and learn a little bit along the way, it would seem every 70 or 80 years reality flips. What was okay then, one lifetime later, appears to have flipped. Like debt, like single mothers, like homosexuality. It's flipped, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
Now it's normal.
That's, totally acceptable.
And yet in the 50s, it wasn't at
No.
all acceptable.
No, it was disgraceful.
It was.
Yeah.
So, are we claiming the 50s were better? Or are we claiming now's better? Or are we just understanding reality keeps flipping? And in one more lifetime, it might flip back again.
Yeah, just flips.
I think it does. I think it does myself. If we go back to the 50s, though, there is something that I think is important to remember. And it reminded me, and that is the role of the guys in the 50s.
Yeah.
The role of the guys in the 50s, because we have a very different male-female setup now, don't we?
We do.
But going back to the 50s, it was different.
Yeah.
Your mum and dad were probably a good example of that.
Yeah. Men were classed as men. They were the providers. Like my dad, he bought the house. My mum appreciated that, and she made the home, but Dad was the income bringer, and she had that respect for him. Like he had the same respect for Mum because she provided the nurturing. That's totally gone now. Now, when all I see is that men and women are merging, they're becoming the same. They're competing rather than complementing one another.
It's all down to money, isn't it? It's always down to money,
It
isn't it?
is.
This is
Yeah.
this is it always is. And those that haven't got any say it isn't.
Mhm.
But can I have somebody else's place?
Yeah.
You know, they're actually I'm free and independent, living on benefits.
Yeah.
You know, it's a
Yeah.
farce.
Yeah.
Don't bring me those people, I can't be bothered with them. But when we go back to the 50s, you're right. It was possible for a guy to buy a house.
Yeah.
And the girl, as you say, he asked her to get married, and they had a home.
Mm.
Or he had the ability to buy the home
Yeah.
at the point of asking her to get married. That's ideal in what we look back as the black and white world of what we think the world was like.
Mm.
It works out ideal in the Disney version of things, doesn't it?
Mm. Yeah.
But we know it was achievable because your mum and dad achieved it.
They did.
So it's achievable.
Yeah.
And your mum and dad are just regular people. They didn't have money.
No.
They worked hard for it, but working hard was good enough.
Yeah.
It was good enough in those days to be able to have those things.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Now, materialism is something that we got taught from the 50s onwards, really. Well, from the 30s onwards, really, but the 50s and the 60s, the gadgets and the gizmos and the labour-saving devices.
Mm.
You know, we really, really sort of bought into these things, you know, cars and foreign holidays. These were all new, and telephones and black and white TVs, then colour TVs, bigger houses, extension, garages. These were all things that we'd never had access to before. Showers.
Yeah.
You know, it was new, and videos, and we going to the 80s, you know, we went to mobile phones and buying bigger houses. You didn't need them. There wasn't more of you. You just bought bigger houses, you know. Bigger houses, smaller bloody families.
Yeah.
More expensive cars, less miles you've driven. So we started doing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We
did.
started playing the materialism game.
Yeah.
Did you do it? To a point.
To a point, yeah.
So did I.
Yeah.
So did I.
Yeah.
I'm not... Everything we talk about, everything I talk about, and all the criticisms I make are personal.
Yeah.
Because I've done them all.
Yeah. That's the only thing you can talk about is your own experiences.
But the best
That's what you see.
The best thing about this is that when people say, "Oh, you're just saying that," I say, "No, that's what happened."
Mm.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the ideal world that doesn't exist anymore, Dad would buy the house, Mum would accept his offer of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
He would be nature, she would be nurture, and away we would go.
Yeah.
And that would be ideal.
Yeah.
And Disney still sells us that idea to some extent, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
Prince
does.
and princess for the kids.
Yeah.
It's not achievable, but the kids think it is.
Yeah.
And the royal wedding thinks it makes even believe it even more.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all nice and lovely for children, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But we're not bloody children now.
No.
No, we're not. So through a process of materialism, or wanting too many things, we got mixed up with needs and wants.
Yeah.
We got mixed up with needs and wants. We put the wants into the needs pile, and the needs got chucked into the wants pile, and we've got loads of things we want and nothing that we need.
Yeah.
Well, it is like Christmas every day, isn't it? We buy ourselves something and throw it away tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because we didn't need it.
No.
Bread makers, George Foreman grills, whatever.
Yeah.
But we buy things because we think we want them, and I mean, bread makers, right? Bread makers. The ingredients cost more than the bloody bread. The only bread you can buy from the supermarket. It's a bloody farce, really. But there we are. In fact, everything costs more to grow. If you're on a water meter, you cannot grow food at home cheaper than you can buy it.
Yeah.
You cannot grow food at home cheaper than you can buy it. Not possible. Back to the subject though, girls and boys. Men have lost their standing in society because they can't provide a house. And men are... The chap that I was talking to today, Kev, I don't know his financial position, so I'm not going to say that this is his financial position. I'm going to say that this is some people's financial position. And that is at 40-something, when the marriage ends, because of a process of moving house 1, 2, 3, 4 times, sometimes just for bigger and better houses, sometimes to accommodate a bigger family.
Yeah.
The mortgage usually isn't paid by now. The mortgage is not paid. My 2 sisters are very much evidence of this. One's 40, one's 46, and they've both just recently started new mortgages.
Right.
So that's 25 years of paying still to go for both of them. You know? I'm not saying they're going to, but it's a good example. Should those 2 marriages split,
yeah,
neither will be able to buy the other out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I believe this has been repeated nationwide.
Yeah.
Because of a process of, bigger houses, more things, nice holidays, nice kitchens, remortgage, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's been doing it because the businesses exist for people to do that. Mm-hmm. So it's fair to say that lots of people have done it. Well, it leaves the guy in no position at all, because he can't provide for himself and still provide for his family unless he lives there.
Yeah.
He just can't do it. So in the old days, the guy would get ready to have the house bought, so it would be his.
Mm-hmm.
And because the way the law stood then, it was his.
Yeah.
She couldn't take it off him.
No.
Was that right or wrong? I think
Yeah,
an element of investment should have been allowed, shouldn't it?
Yes, definitely.
An element of investment, a process of, if you've been with him 15, 20 years and he still says you don't own any part of this house,
Yeah.
I think maybe you're entitled to a share of some sort.
Yeah.
So if we look back and be fair on that basis,
Mm-hmm.
would that still be applicable today?
Well,
The reason I'm asking is because you and I have done the same thing.
yes.
You tell me why you tell me your position. You tell me your position if you want to, and that is that.
Yeah, I'm self-employed. I own my own house, no debts. So I mean, I am in a very.
But you had
good
the house
position.
before you got married.
I did.
You slightly the other way around for you.
Yeah.
Okay, you were the girl who had the house.
Yes.
Now I did the same thing.
Yeah.
I had the house before I got married.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're not blowing up our sunshine up each other's whatever, but that's the way we chose to do it, because to us it felt right.
Yeah.
So whether we're right or wrong, we think we were right in doing that because you kept your own house and I've kept my own house.
That's right. Yeah.
So we made it so it was ours before we embarked on the wonderful roller coaster that is marriage.
Yeah.
But we always were ready before we started it.
We were.
Well, that's how I did it.
Yeah.
It's not possible nowadays.
No. No.
Not for regular people.
No, it isn't.
Not for regular people, it isn't, no.
But young couples starting off now, they seem to accept that they will forever be in a renting position. They've got no chance of purchasing their own.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
If you look, you're only renting music, really. The music that you buy online, you're buying a copy of something that doesn't cost anything to give you a copy.
Mm-hmm.
When you buy music, it's just a digital duplicate.
Yeah.
It's cost nothing to actually produce. So you're only renting nothing, really.
Right.
You're renting a copy, and as long as it's copyright, you can keep using it.
Right.
But if you've copied it wrong, they're eventually going to take it off you. They're going to take it off you.
Yeah.
But look at cars. They're only technically rented, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're only rented because although we do get to own them, we get to own them on the basis that we follow the rules.
Yeah.
So when people say, oh, your car's not your own, it is your car. You do get an ownership document, but the registration and title is held by the DVLC.
Mm-hmm.
And they can come and claim their car if you don't follow the rules.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's technically their car unless you do as you're told.
Yeah.
That's an authoritarian society, isn't it?
It is.
But we don't see it that way, do we?
No.
Because that makes us sound like slaves.
Yeah.
Who wants to admit they're a slave? Nobody wants to admit they're a slave.
Nobody.
Even though it actually is a spell of leaves, do you know that? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So it's just a branch of humanity, isn't it? Just a religion.
It is.
But it's like the word I lied. Yeah?
Mhm.
I, space L-I-E-D.
Yeah.
Okay, try and say this word. A-L-L-I-E-D.
Mm.
Try and say it different, go on.
I
Yeah?
lied.
Yeah, double cross, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look back in your life. Is it true, Your Honour, that the relationships that have come and gone over the years, and I suspect there'll be plenty and many,
Mhm.
please don't pick one and tell me about it.
Mhm.
The reason why those relationships don't exist now are because of a betrayal.
Yeah.
Either you betrayed them or they betrayed you.
Yeah.
And the reason that friendship ended is because it was done.
Yes.
There was no value for one side or the other. One side accepted it had taken all it could from that relationship and you weren't given any more.
Mhm.
Or you'd taken all you could from one relationship and it wasn't giving you any more.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that what friendship's based on?
It appears to be.
Isn't friendship based on sharing?
Yeah.
And if one person isn't sharing, it's not a friendship.
That's right.
Do we not see that?
We should do,
But we don't, do we?
but we don't
But
act it,
don't.
do we?
We don't. Why don't we understand that? Because we're the taker.
Yeah.
The maker knows. The maker knows who's been taken for a ride.
Yeah.
But the taker tries to make the maker not realise that they're taking them for a ride.
Yeah.
Because they pay you endless compliments, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're a lovely person. Oh, you are kind. You are... I couldn't wish for a better friend. They're just saying thank you because they've got nothing to give you back.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't like being complimented.
Mm.
Because that's what it reminds me of.
Mm-hmm.
Is it wrong? No, it's not, is it?
No.
It's not, though, is it?
No, it isn't.
That's why we do these things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we know we've got nothing to give back.
Yeah.
That's why we say thanks very much. Yes, sir. No, sir. 3 bags full. Sir. I'll do anything you want, sir, yeah?
Yeah.
Put you in a room with rich people, what will you be like? Be on your bloody knees, won't you? Yeah?
Yeah.
First day, last to leave. Anything you want, sir, I'll see to that for you. What are we really?
Well.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
You know, where's the admission come from? The admission is the fee to get in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, it should be called permission,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not, is it?
No.
It's called admission,
That's right.
which is to admit.
Yeah.
Admit what?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it says admit one on the theatre ticket. But it should be permit one.
Yeah.
Allow.
Yes. Yeah.
But it doesn't. It says admit one.
Yeah.
Why does it say admit one? Because the show you're refusing to watch, because you're going to somebody else's, is the one you need to learn.
Yeah.
The admission is the lies you tell yourself. I've said before, in your head is a voice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a continual commentating narrator. It has an opinion on bloody everything.
Yeah.
And you know what? It challenges you to do all sorts of things that maybe you should and maybe you shouldn't.
Yes.
Who is that voice?
I have no idea.
I'll tell you who it is. It's bloody you. It's you. But you don't want it to be you.
No.
So you isolate it and pretend you're having a conversation with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's you. You're calculating whether you can get away with it. And do you know how I know it's you? Because it never says sorry to you.
No.
It's bloody you.
Mm.
It's your driver.
Yeah.
You're the passenger. He's driving. Well, give it a go. It might be alright. Well, no one's watching. But everybody else does that. Oh, they won't remember. It's you.
Yeah. Well, I've started going against it more and more now.
Hard
Go
though,
with
isn't
gut
it?
feeling.
Hard though, isn't it?
It is.
It's actually you. When you say, I'm having these crazy dreams, and guess who that is? It's you. What are you trying to do? You're trying to do your washing, aren't you? You're trying to get rid of it, aren't you? And it
Yeah.
won't leave, will it?
No.
Doesn't want to go, does it?
No.
See, if we get into the esoteric a little bit here. Life is a series of choices, and if yours is going badly, it's because you've made the wrong ones.
Yeah.
It's nobody else's fault. Children blame everything around them because they don't have the ability to respond to grown-up situations.
Yeah.
Respond ability. They don't have it.
No.
They run to mummy and daddy and tell mummy and daddy things aren't going right and they better jolly well fix it.
Yeah.
And can I have my pocket money, please, even though I haven't cleaned my bedroom. That's what happens.
Yeah.
The controllers of our lives are not us. They're the controllers of the country we live in. And collectively they have to control 64 million people. So they classify us, and the controls are exerted differently on different classifications. And this side of the internet that we're using, the dark and gloomy doom and gloom, the world is ending, is designed for us. It's here for us, and it's doing a really good job. A really good job, because it busies people blaming everything else.
Yeah.
It makes them into news hounds, barking and barking at the moon, and no one's listening. It makes them think that they're somehow superior to those around them. But this again is another damn illusion that is jolly hard to shake off. And the best thing about this illusion, it actually has a name. It's actually called the Dunning-Kruger effect, and it's a cognitive bias. And this cognitive bias is something that people who watch the YouTube alternative videos know all about. And it is the double cross, believing one thing while saying another.
Yeah.
Or believing that two things can exist at the same time in your head. And it's individuals who suffer from illusory superiority. And as I said at the beginning of the show, this illusory superiority comes from YouTube videos, from made-up superhero names, from places they've never met, about things they can't prove, and won't change their lives for positive reasons. When we first started this, you and I spent hours, primarily Saturday nights, and I said, okay, I'm going to break every illusion you've got. You sit and listen, and I'm going to wreck what you think is the world you live in. And then I'm going to challenge you to put it back together.
Yeah.
Remember I said that to you?
You did.
And that's what I did.
You did.
And sat here today, what was the most important part of what I would call the recovery process? What has been the biggest and most pleasing achievement? And I suspect it's one that you talk about that you've achieved this year.
It's independence, my independence and confidence. That's my biggest achievement.
You said to me you started it off with I put down the books.
I did, yeah.
And started seeing it for yourself.
That's right, yeah. Seeing it for myself, hearing it for myself. And it just, the pieces are starting to come together now for me.
You see, would you say before then that you were mistakenly assessing your ability to be much higher than was accurate?
Yeah.
Were you seeing people as less than you? You don't have to answer this.
No.
You don't have to. I'm not trying to embarrass you because it's tempting, isn't it? I know something you don't know. Now sit down, listen, and let me tell you because it's important. So that's how it feels, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but they feel that you're trying to get one over on them.
Yeah.
They feel you're trying to embarrass them. So even if you don't see it as acting superior, they do.
Yeah. I just wanted them to feel as
Right.
good as I was feeling, but it caused so much animosity because they misconstrued what I was trying to do. I didn't get it over well enough.
It's because you weren't using your own words.
Yeah.
We're sat here this evening, and we talked about it off mic, and I've said that this might feel to you the next step in being able to speak this back out.
Yeah.
Because if you want people to listen to what it is that you have to say, you have to go first. You have to pay them the kindness. You go first. So you said, tell me, what's changed in the world for you? Look back over the past 10, 15, 20 years. Look back when you got married. What's changed? And if you allow them to go first, then you will create a conversation.
Yeah.
But you won't if you don't. It's a bit like shaking hands with people. Maybe you don't do it so often. But you'll find, guys particularly when they shake hands, that handshake has got a very, very good purpose when guys meet. The firmness of the handshake and who tries to turn the hand over denotes who's in charge.
Right.
When the guys grasp hands,
Yeah.
okay, the tension in that grasp, okay, if one is grasping considerably tighter than the other,
Yeah.
the one that grasps tight will turn the hand over,
Right.
and that's submission. He knows that he has the overpowering strength.
Right.
They know that. That's what a handshake's for.
Is that where the upper hand comes from?
Yes, it is. That's where you
Right.
get. Well, the Romans used to do it like the footballers do, or like the. I'm going to show you, but we can't do it like this. You know, like the high five,
Oh,
where you-
yeah.
like that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how the Romans did it in the arm wrestling position.
Yeah.
Imagine arm wrestling like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And they did it like that,
Yeah.
and then whichever one, you know, like that. And if I
Right.
could pull you towards me, or you
Yeah.
pulled me towards you,
Right.
like in an air
Yeah.
air arm wrestling competition, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the stronger.
Right.
That was seen as the stronger of the hand of the shake.
Right.
So that was, and the handshake is just a reduced version of that.
Yeah.
So should you shake hands with people,
Mhm.
and they offer you, just a plate of sausages,
Mm.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
you know what you've got.
Yeah.
But politicians do that.
Yeah.
They shake hands like girls.
Yeah.
Let me show you how they shake hands like this. Like that.
Right. Yeah.
That, you watch politicians shaking hands.
Yeah.
It's like old people do it, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the fingers.
Just finger ends.
Just the four fingers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how they do it.
Yeah.
You watch. You watch.
Right.
They shake like girls.
Right.
No strength. No
Yeah.
strength. You see.
Yeah.
Whereas you meet a working man, good firm handshake,
Yeah.
good stock, good strong stock.
Yeah.
These little things we miss. We don't. We do them, but we don't know why we do them.
Yeah.
The handshake was also a welcome aboard. It was also a firm grasp to welcome them aboard.
Right.
So boarding one ship from another.
Right.
So yes, it does have its history.
Yeah.
It does have its history. This Dunning-Kruger effect is on my Facebook page, actually. I knew it'd have a name. I just had to research it and find it. And it is, and I'm guilty. I am guilty. Go back 6-7 years. I'll read it out for you. 6-7 years ago, this was me. Really? The Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias wherein unskilled individuals suffer from illusory superiority. I think everybody suffers from that. Everybody does that. I've had conversations in my shop for years. I had a guy yesterday who I think is a Labour supporter. And I said, here's a guy who won't have voted Conservative. Well, what makes you say that? I said, well, I'll be surprised if you did vote Conservative. Well, he said, it's my business. I said, of course it's your business.
Yeah.
I said, but the one thing is, you probably didn't vote Conservative. Well, what if I did? I thought, oh no, now he's trying.
Challenging.
He thinks I'm having a bit of fun, hoping I'm getting a bit of support because I'm taking the mickey out of Conservative supporters, right?
Yeah.
And I thought I'll get a little bit of backing from him. No, I didn't vote Conservative. That's all I was hoping for.
Yeah.
No, did I get that? No, I got a challenge, and I said, I thought, God Almighty. Even when I'm laughing and joking, I can't. It's still they see it as a challenge.
Yeah.
And I said, well, if you did vote Conservative, you should be bloody ashamed of yourself. I said, you and I have spoken enough times now that you can see through this game. If you voted blue, you can't see what you told me you could see. How this game was played. And he says, at my age, I haven't got time. I said, you're retired. You're retired. I said, you haven't got time. You're bloody retired. He said, but I look after the grandkids, and I do this and I do that. And I said, well, isn't this part of looking after the grandkids and teaching the kids? I mean, why are we having this conversation? We've had it before.
Yeah.
And he out came the finger. I ate the finger. I hate it when they get the finger out.
Yeah.
Put that bloody finger down. If you think you're going to shoot me, I'll smack you one. Anyway, out came the bloody finger. And about their bloody money system and bloody immigration. And I said, fella, out of all the time you and I have spoken, I thought you'd actually figured out that this is what you're meant to be arguing about, to keep you busy doing nothing.
Yeah.
Have you not figured that it's the money system and the theft, that's all they're interested in? Illusory superiority.
Mm.
He still won't listen to me. Because I'm just not as old as he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
At 70 odd years old, a staunch union man, still won't listen.
Yeah.
Still blames every bullet I've given him to fire. He puts that finger and fires at me. Every bloody bullet. Let's change subjects then. let's change subjects before we go home this time. Our first hour on the week back, and I want to go with one final little thought. We always go around the houses in these shows, and we always seem to touch on the same subjects, but from different points of view. That's what I like to do.
Yeah.
And ultimately, when we look at the schoolyard setup that we have, because this is a schoolyard setup we have,
Definitely.
and you've said that in your understanding, the schoolyard has been looking at that schoolyard and seeing its differences, the sports guys, the fashionistas, the wallflowers, the not so good sports guys, the marble players, that sort of thing. You know, you look at all the different little groups, the chess players, and of course the biggest gang, the bully.
Yeah.
The bully and his gang was the biggest gang, or had the most influence. And you said, looking at the world that way, it has made a considerable difference into how you can understand much more of what there is to learn.
That's what I see now.
But it's everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's actually, it is the system replayed throughout all hierarchy.
Yeah.
All hierarchy. Now, tell me, in the playground, there's something that I've not mentioned before, but I'm going to this time. And that is that all the boys who were trying to make a name for themselves in the playground, I don't know if you girls ever noticed, but there always is a top dog in the boys.
Yeah.
There's the bully and the sports guy.
Yeah.
The smart guy never gets recognised in the early years, does he?
No.
Not unless it's usually the sports guy who tends to be, you know, the
heartthrob.
He's the heartthrob, and then the bully, who is, well, some girls,
heartthrob.
Yeah, some girls pick him. You see.
Yeah.
But the one thing that perhaps isn't noticeable in the playground is that when those guys put the show on, they're looking for recognition from somebody, and it's always a girl.
Yeah.
When they do something of note, they always look over to see if the girl has noticed.
Yeah, it's paying attention.
Yeah, they always have a girl to impress.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be unless they've got a girl to impress. So maybe one lesson that we can perhaps take away from this evening, or remind ourselves to take away from this evening, is that ultimately guys don't do anything unless there's a girl involved.
That's right. You see it on the weekend, don't you? If there's any fights going on, it's usually caused a girl comes into it somewhere.
In all the tricky situations I've been in, and in my DJing days, there was plenty of them. You could see lots of late night scuffles and fiascos and carryings on. The bullet makers were the girls.
Yeah.
The bullet makers are always the girls.
Yeah.
But isn't it true that the girl is always a power behind the guy?
Yeah.
Isn't that what she always was?
Yeah.
I've said before, without a throwaway comment, I've said, what's it all for if there's not someone to do it for?
Yeah.
What's it all for? You know, I mean, the best thing that, the most humbling thing that anyone could say, especially from a guy's perspective, is when he meets a girl, the best compliment he could play to a girl is, you make me want to be a better person. You make me a better version of me.
Yeah.
Because that's what girls are meant to do.
Yeah.
Because girls bring something that guys don't have.
But girls should want to do that.
But what do girls bring that guys don't have?
They bring the emotions.
And there be the difference.
Yeah.
There be the difference.
Yeah.
You see, we bandy around the words compassion and empathy. And most people perhaps just have a quick dictionary check, just to make sure what they mean. But if we go with emotion, it's your ability to feel.
Yeah.
Now, everyone's got emotions, but the depth of those emotions, they vary considerably, don't they?
Very much.
Now, you know that I have students at my house quite often.
Yeah.
You know. And without going into detail, there is one thing that appears to be a repeating problem.
Yes.
It's a recurring problem in all of them.
Yeah.
And it is
no emotion.
The lack of depth of feeling.
Yeah.
But they don't know.
No.
They don't know.
They will argue and they totally believe they are feeling these feelings.
Because they recognise the words.
Yeah.
But they don't experience the feelings.
No.
But they think they do.
Yeah.
Isn't this a genius system?
It is.
Because is it not the emotions that make us feel alive?
Yeah.
Is it not the experiencing because now you know how it feels to put the shoes on.
Yeah.
When you watch a film, you don't watch a film from this side of the screen.
No.
You actually ask yourself, how would it feel? And because you're open to the feeling and the emotion, you actually put yourself in that reality so you can experience fully how it would feel.
Yeah.
Then you bring it back out and use it in the real world.
Yeah.
You see it being played out in the real world.
Yeah.
So for all the movie is fiction,
Mm-hmm.
it is a tool that you can use to learn.
Yeah.
I have said, and I'll keep saying, everything we have access to, media-wise, it's either pushing reality further away from you because you see it of no use, no value in fiction, or it's bringing reality right to your front door and telling you exactly how the world works.
Yeah. If you want to see it.
If you're prepared to learn,
Yeah.
you can say it's just brainwashing. Those are early days for you. I understand for you to come back with that comment. It's very early days. You're only a year or two in. You're doing it on your own, and you're never going to actually understand until you understand that you don't understand. You cannot watch something first time and say you know it. You said before that you go back and listen to all sorts of things, and it's almost like you're hearing it for the first time.
Yeah.
And even when you heard it the first time, you appreciated its value. You went back the second time and you didn't appreciate its value.
Yes.
This is the genius of the words we have, isn't it?
Yes.
This is the multi-level thinking.
Yeah.
And it's all differentiated by emotions.
Yeah.
You'll never remember what I've said this evening. No one ever does.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing you do remember
It's
is how you
it
felt
felt.
when I was saying it.
Yeah.
That's the deciding factor of whether you'll come back for some more.
Yeah.
Now, I don't care whether you come back for some more or not, because your life doesn't affect my life. And although this might give you something to use, that's as good as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing I need back from you. I live a life that I've engineered for myself that I now realise is what everybody should try and engineer for themselves.
Mm.
To become independent, to become debt-free, to be my own boss, and to have the things I need and not have a big list of things that I want.
Yeah.
I've gathered that I did that without even no one telling me. I just figured that was the way I should live, and maybe that's the way we should all try and live. But temptation and life's pressures, it's not possible for everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm not showing off, and I'm not decrying people who don't have that ability. I'd love to hear from people who are trying to save themselves, who are trying to make their world a better place, who are not shouting at the world to listen to them because they haven't got anything.
Yeah.
We're happy to meet and greet and speak to those people. And for the others, I hope you achieve that. I hope you actually get to that point where you have what you need. It's called being independent, and it's the version of freedom that exists, and it's the only version of freedom that exists. The get out of debt free boys and girls, the hugging trees and saving whales and dolphins, the love and light gang, the UFO gang, I mean, God bless them. I mean, if we go back 2,000 years, the people of the day were being told that the gods came down from ships in the sky. They bred with the indigenous population. They bred them to look like them, and they were their slaves. And I guess the people of the day believed it. They bred them to look like them. Come on. Take a moment, will you? Take a moment. Just take a moment to think, maybe they weren't from the skies. Maybe they were the ones that had the best weapons.
Yeah.
Maybe they wiped out everybody who didn't look like them. Then maybe they bred themselves a slave race, and then they could perpetuate this story that they were blessed by the gods. We were the angels that were left behind to breed with you,
Yeah.
the fallen angels, and one day our race will come back. Come on, you can't tell me 2,000 years later the same shit is still going on. 2,000 years on, and we've still got the same story as a possibility. And we've got the weakest of all assuming the position we will become gods. That's what they say, not me.
Yeah.
We will become gods. The more the game changes, the more it stays the bloody same.
Yeah.
The only bit is our ability to understand, comprehend, and fight back.
Yeah.
The only thing that's kept us alive throughout all these years is our ability and our numbers to cooperate and fight back. And I'm not quite sure we're going to do it yet. I don't know how much more pain we have to take.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much more stupidity we have to wade through. But it would appear a little more.
Yeah.
So we do our little bit. We sit here on a Tuesday and we try and get through.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can enjoy your conspiracy theories, the 9/11, the 7/7, and the Buru and everything. I don't mind. I'm not going to argue with you because you're going to give me internet. You're going to give me internet evidence, and I'm not going to argue with it. The problem is you.
Yeah.
The rest is just the news for you to enjoy, so you can do everything but work on you.
That's it.
You think that learning all the news, remembering all the dates, and quoting whatever it is, the sweet Facebook posts people put up, you think that that's going to make you look smart. It doesn't, does it?
No.
It makes you look weird.
Yeah.
Bloody weird.
Yeah.
Why it works? I hope over the series of doing these shows, I hope bit by bit I can explain to you why it works. It works because we don't understand who we are.
Yeah.
We refuse to look inside. We always buy the outside of the packet.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we buy all our friends.
Mm-hmm.
We buy the outside, and that's the bit they have for sale.
The wrapping.
The wrapping.
Yeah.
And we think the wrapping is the present.
Mm-hmm.
And we never get to unwrap it.
No.
It's like going to the supermarket, buying crisps, emptying all the crisps, and trying to eat the wrapper. And we never figure it out. All our lives we do it, and we never figure it out. The first Tuesday of another series of the Unpenned Show. With me, Paul.
And me, Joe.
See you next time.
Bye.